Hi, I'm Trina, a self-deprecating, low-life Malaysian actor trying to find the meaning of success. I decided to get out of bed and do what I love doing. Ask a damn lot of questions and find some answers. Well, sort of. Join me on the actor's journey. Hi guys, I am Trina Rafi. You can call me Trina because that's cooler. No, actually, depends. We'll see.
I love Trina.
Thanks. I am an actor and welcome. And I'm an actor. So I've been an actor for about 5 years, I guess, right now. Theater and film, and right now I'm just trying to figure out this acting thing. And therefore, here we are in the Actor's Journey podcast. And today, for my first guest, is my amazing friend and amazing actor, stage and screen, the very wonderful Rifa!
Hello! Thank you, Trina. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here.
In my house.
Yes, thanks for letting me use your space and your mic.
I'm really happy for it to be here because I feel most comfortable in this space, and
Yeah.
And it's nice to like have a chat with you, with a friend. With a close friend, yeah.
It doesn't feel like a serious interview.
Yeah. And I love the concept, the whole concept of the actor's journey. You know, it feels like some kind of like a pilgrimage. And
this is my promo. Actually, I brought her in just for promo.
Yeah, that's all I'm good for. You know, I just like, okay, bye Trina right now. I shall go into my room.
And her plants. No, okay. Cool. All right. So Grace, why don't you just give everyone a little bit of an introduction to you and your career and everything else?
So hi, my name is Grace Ng. I'm an actress and a performing artist. I would say I've been doing this for about 8 years now. Before that, I was actually a newsreader and a TV host.
What?
So I transitioned from that realm into, you know, acting and expression and performing arts. I make most of my money as a voice talent because, yeah, let's be honest, in Malaysia, it's a little bit hard to fully sustain as an actor unless you're really famous, which I am not. Somebody make me famous, please.
Disclaimer, I'm just doing this for the potential fame. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so I make most of my money as a voice actor, but my passion is, of course, acting and dance and performing arts. Yes.
Nice. Okay. So for our very first episode, I really just wanted to delve into the most important question, and at the same time, it seems like a basic question, but it's always a hard one because I don't think people can ever truly define what acting is. So what is acting to you?
The $1 million question, right?
Yes.
What is acting?
Yeah.
The hardest topic of all for the first topic. Okay, so to me, acting is essentially embodying a character and expressing it with full empathy and emotion in order to tell the story. So it's in service of the story. But I would say, like, for me, acting personally, like how it started was when I was a kid and I wanted to make my parents and my family laugh.
Oh, it's so
Yeah. It was a very entertaining kind of instinct within me. So I remember like they would be like sitting down watching TV. Then I would stand next to the TV, and I remember it being like a Pantene commercial, and you know the model was like, long lustrous hair, Pantene. And then I don't remember what I did, but I remember like standing next to the TV and like I was like, and then they were laughing, and then like,
so cute.
and then that was my first like, aha, this works.
Yeah.
You know, like this is a strategy for life. You know?
How old are you?
I think I was about 7 lah. Yeah.
We were building an Elon Musk and we didn't even know it.
And Elon Musk, the Elon Musk of acting. Oh my god, that's my dream.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I guess the instinct started out when I was a kid to entertain, to make people laugh, and then like I kind of grew up in church camp, like church environment. So beep, this part is censored. Censored. But yeah, that's a good part about church camp. It's like you get to do the plays and the sketches and everything. So I had a lot of fun doing that. And then when I went to college, I joined Taylor's Society of Performing Arts.
Oh snaps!
It was called SPA. It was called SPA, Society of Performing Arts. Like, are you going for SPA today?
It's not the face mask kind. It's the face mask.
Yeah, it's not the face mask kind.
It's the art face mask. You know, the one where you got no effect. The weird ones, right? Did you do masking? No.
I did a bit of mask. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that another day. But you know what I mean. Yeah. And how was that for you? Like, so like experiencing. So most of like your experience was just going into like club. It's very communal work lah. Like
very community.
Your introduction
To
acting. And
so even when I was so introduction, and then in college I took some theatre subjects like musical theatre and physical theatre, so movement stuff. And then I guess when I got slightly older, and then I told my mom that this was after uni, after graduating, I was like, oh, I want to be an actor. My mom is obviously like, are you insane? Are you out of your mind? She's like, no. And she laid down the law lah. Basically, she was like, no, you need to do a mass comm subject like broadcasting or some kind of thing like that. So that's why I went into radio production at first. So I worked at BFM.
Nice.
And then at NTV7. So yeah, then after a while, like there's this thing inside me, like since I was young, I just really want to act. That's all I want to do, So then I decided to leave the TV job and just pursue
acting,
drama. And then so that's when I went to drama school.
And where did you go for drama school?
So I went to NIDA, the National Institute of Dramatic Art. Yeah, which is the school that Dato' Joe Hasham graduated from.
Oh, and it was like it was a conservatory basically.
Yeah, conservatory. So we were like, it was a very
acting.
Yes, purely acting, very immersive lah. So we had 5 subjects: acting, voice, body. And 2 more, I can't remember. Music.
Yeah, okay.
And 1 more was like performance studies. So
that's so interesting.
Yeah,
so it's very like dramaturgy kind of.
That one was like that one was more like a little bit of a theoretical subject, which, to be very honest, I didn't put that much effort into.
This is why we're friends. They're like, I have to read things.
But actually, it was very interesting. It taught me a lot.
Yeah,
it really taught me about the history of acting, like how Western acting started out as from Greek theatre.
Yeah.
And I felt that that's kind of significant lah, a little bit.
Oh, very. But do you dare say like your definition of acting changed when you studied in drama school?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Because before that, I would say my knowledge of acting is very, very innocent and simplistic, which honestly, like right now, I'm trying to go back to the time when it was just innocent, simplistic, and just for the joy of sharing, of sharing and telling stories, and for the community, because that's what acting and storytelling is about. We tell stories for the people, for connection, and for that sense of heritage and continuity of our stories, of whether of society, community, or humanity, So got lost on a tangent there. Where was I? So back to drama school. Wait, where was I?
It was did drama school kind of help you change your definition of acting?
So before that, it was a very simplistic knowledge of acting, and then when I went to drama school, it became very spiritual and psychological.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I think that has to do with probably the history of how acting is being taught in drama schools. Yeah, so it has a very schools have a very Stanislavski
style.
style.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to share what Stanislavski and who Stanislavski is basically.
Crash course.
Okay, crash course 101 within this podcast. Okay, so from what I know is that last time, theatre used to be very like if you're sad, you're like, oh, I'm sad. If you're happy, I'm happy. Angry, I'm angry. And so it's a very like outward like declamatory style, which is quite similar to Chinese opera also and other more traditional styles of acting. So very gestural. And then after that, there was this one guy. His name is Konstantin Stanislavski, a Russian dude, and and he was very like, this is boring. Like every time I go to the theater, because he was actually from a very wealthy family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was very bored. He was like, no, this is boring. He was like, I want the acting
Only
to
the
be
rich
like,
can question.
you gotta thank them for it. It's
Yeah.
like they're free, so they got like no, nothing to do. No,
It's like-
yeah. So
Poverty? What is that? No.
no, but that's the joy of it.
Yeah, it is.
So we have him to thank for modern acting, and so he decided that this declamatory style it's not interesting because it's boring. It's all the same. So he was more interested in the inner world of human beings and how actors can bring that inner world onto stage, because sometimes and you see this in the best type of modern acting, when an actor is sad on the inside but on the outside they're like,
Yeah.
they have this like like this weird like
When the lip.
with this weird expression, and you're like, is this person sad? Is this person like, it's a mix of emotions, and that's what draws the audience in,
Yeah.
so that's what Stanislavski was trying to go for. So he founded Moscow Art Theatre, blah blah blah, and then like Lee Strasberg studied under him. Then Lee Strasberg taught like Marilyn Monroe and like taught like all the greats of Hollywood theatre, and then from there modern acting as we know it was birthed. So everything that we see today, from your Daniel Day-Lewis to your Jennifer Lawrence, it all kind of stemmed from Stanislavski.
Yeah.
If he didn't have his like ding, I want to change acting, everyone would still be doing like the very declamatory style of like,
What's up?
Yeah.
I am standing here.
Yeah, very gestural, very expressive, sort of. Yeah.
Sort of acting. Oh, okay. Next question.
I don't know if that really answered the question though. Yeah, I think now acting is, for me, it's a combination of like the innocent joy of just telling stories and like community sort of thing, and combined with the more theory about acting.
Yeah, like the experimental and the like in-depth of questioning.
The psychological.
Why you do what
spiritual.
you do and all that kind of stuff. Intention, objective, super objective.
Yeah, we should talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
But anyways, next question.
So, why acting? Like, knowing the struggles of acting, like why acting actually?
That's a tough question, isn't it? Because it is, like you say, it's a very tough thing, and I feel like actors do everything opposite of what normal human beings want to do. Acting. Seriously,
We are the definition of a hipster. Okay? Don't mess. Don't
mess, yo.
Yo. Looking like a hobo? That was us first. What are you trying to do? Like, trying to make us mainstream? What?
Actually, like the hipster beard is all originated from this one out of work actor, right?
Yes, legit.
Discovered in New York somewhere, and someone was like,
Oh,
that's cool.
That's right. You just had to get one freaking fashion person like, this is art. And everyone's wearing it. That's creativity.
But what I find fascinating about actors is that, like, okay, most human beings want to avoid drama. Actors want drama.
Yeah.
Most human beings, they want to like avoid messy emotions. Actors want to revel in messy emotions. Most human beings don't want to think so much. Actors want to think a lot. So they just want to be... Seriously, it's so crazy. So like, why acting is a very, very good question. And
out of all the creative platforms, why acting? Like, because you sing too, you know, and you dance as well. Like, why is acting the drive of your
okay,
career?
honestly, I would say that it is the one thing that actually really requires you to be like 100% vulnerable and 100% yourself. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, because all the other art forms are dance and singing, both
Yeah.
also very expressive.
Yeah.
But in a way, sometimes I feel like you can use your art as like a mask, or like your art
Yeah.
distances yourself from your audience. You use it
Yeah.
as a distance. But with acting, I feel it's very immediate.
Yeah.
It's very, you have to really show yourself and be very very vulnerable.
Show yourself, show the character, show
Yeah.
the storyline.
Yeah.
Like it's up in your face. But it's well, this is a bit different, but do you consider that a bit dangerous? No.
It is. It's very scary. But then I think it kind of pushes me lah, because I definitely have issues, like most people, with really showing myself, really being vulnerable and showing who I am. You know, so I think it's a good challenge. Yeah. But sometimes, yeah, you're right. It can be dangerous, especially if you get too heavily involved in the character. And I think using the wrong acting methods can be dangerous.
Okay.
Like okay, so that Lee Strasberg guy, right, who is Marilyn Monroe's guru, he recommended using this thing called emotional memory. So where you wanna, let's say if you need to cry in a certain moment in whatever work you're doing, in the play or the text or the script or whatever, and then so what you do in order to access that emotion is like you think back, or the time when my dog died, or the time when, you know, whatever bad thing happened to me, you go back in time to that memory, and you use that to bring out the emotion. And I think he used a lot of other very extreme techniques, which are now commonly known to most of us as method acting. Method. So yeah, I think going method can be quite dangerous. And especially if you don't know how to pull yourself back from reality, or if you don't have very like super grounded friends who are like, hey, hello, we are here on earth, come eat this nasi lemak, or you know,
or you don't have access to a therapist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And therapy is expensive, so not everyone has access to therapists.
No.
So it can be dangerous lah. So I would recommend that anyone who is interested in taking up acting to if you know there are teachers who tell you to use this emotional memory technique, just be careful and just know what you're getting into, and know that there are actually other techniques that you can use which rely more on imagination as opposed to emotional memory. So Stella Adler is one teacher who so like, you know, let's say if you are in a situation where you need to be crying because you know, one of your best friends just committed suicide, for example. I know suicide is a very touchy topic, and
we just watched
a
really intense movie that involves suicide. So that's the first thing that's
So I mean, if you're an actor and you need to go into that position because stuff like this does happen, and you need to go there, instead of accessing a previous memory, use imagination to play with it. Yeah.
Is it fair to say that depending on the kind of work you do and the kind of project that you have as an actor, it's important for you to know as many tools as possible to know which tools work best for this?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you ever, like, when you walk into a project, you kind of figured out the vibe and all, do you ever like sit down and kind of like program and go, okay, I need this tool, I don't want to play with this tool? Or do you experiment with all the tools until you figure out which tool makes sense?
I feel like whenever I go into a new project, I kind of like see, like, just have a feel around for it, and then I'll be like, how can I get there, or how can I make this work? and then I'll feel like, oh, I think this is useful for this project.
Yeah.
And each project will have like you can use different tools for different projects lah. So yeah, that's how I usually approach it.
Yeah. Cool. And it's fair to say that you still do it because acting is one of the few things that makes you move, right? In a way.
There's just something inside where like I feel like if I give it up or if I don't do it, and there was a point in time like maybe like early of last year where I really wanted to give it up. I didn't want to act anymore. But then I do feel that there's something inside that it's just like I feel like acting is a path that calls you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Like people don't. I noticed that like people don't understand like how are you're still living up to this dream and all that kind of stuff, and I don't know how to tell you. I always tell people like if I knew how to do things differently, or take a different path, that will make more money or like or at least the safer route of life, because being an artist in general or an actor is never a safe route. Never. We're kind of like the rebels of the society, right? I always tell people like if I could, I would, but it is like when you say that it's a calling, it is. Yeah,
a little bit.
It's like this painful, like what is this never ending of what if in your head, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm professional. So when you were studying in, I know we touched base a bit on this, but when you were studying in Sydney, you saw the difference in the style of acting and also like sort of like the way the industry was driven and played out. What is it? What was the difference for you? Yeah, what was the difference between the industry there and the industry here for you? Like, what did you catch?
Okay, honestly, I can't really say much about the industry because I was a student there. But I mean, from what we were exposed to, okay, obviously their scene is much more matured lah. Seriously, they have an actual system. So they have their guilds, they have agents, they have castings. Everything's very systematic and organized. Whereas here, I feel like and not that this is a bad thing. I feel like our industry is quite, for lack of a better word, kampung. It's more it's a baby. It's very casual. Yeah. It's like a baby.
It's like you want to come in, okay?
Yeah, we're very like friend. Like okay, let me get my friend to do this.
Okay, boleh masuk dulu. I'm like okay, yeah, because face is the only thing that you're looking. Thanks. Yeah, that kind of stuff, right? And because like I had a culture shock when I got back home. And did you experience it? Like, what were the things that you experienced when you came back? Like, culture shock in the industry, at least. Like, trying to figure out how to navigate yourself in the industry, and compared to that, over there, where there's a system, you have your showcases, you have your open calls where agents of all from everywhere will come and sit down and watch and see your potential and all that kind of thing, and see if they want to work with you. You have all those things. But like over here, it's not really a thing.
Yeah, for here, I feel like it's very much who you know. So, I mean, the fact that it's a very small, very, very small industry here. So like, since from before already, I had some contacts of friends who were part of the industry. So it was kind of like reaching out to them again. And then, just like connecting with people through like Instagram or going to parties, going to events, like networking with people, getting myself out there. Yeah, so the way that you get jobs here in Malaysia especially it's like you need to network.
And are there any specific spaces or places for that?
It's very informal. Everything is very informal, and there's quite a lot of luck involved as well. It's a matter of who your social circle is, who you hang out with. It's a little bit mystical in a way. I mean, I'm not saying like I'm sure that in like places that are more established, have more established markets for the industry, I'm sure it's also there's an amount of mysticality to it as well. But then it's a lot more systematic, and then you can actually sit down and go like, okay, I'm gonna go for this audition, blah, da, 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 and like plan out your day and really have a plan to see yourself succeed.
Yeah. What was it that you noticed that the industry there prioritized, and what we prioritized in acting at least?
Okay, I think that the industry in Malaysia, I feel we have changed a lot over the past 5 years or so. The leaps and bounds. Like, okay, last time, when I first started, right, especially when I was doing my hosting thing, so this was like maybe 10 years ago, my look is like big X because I wasn't Pan-Asian. Yeah, Pan-Asian. So I look too Chinese. Yeah, you know, I look too Chinese, but at the same time, because I cannot really speak Mandarin that well, so I don't fit into the Chinese market either. Yeah, so it was this. There was this feeling of being super left out, super unseen, very marginalized, and at that time,
Are you the Malay or the Chinese me?
Maybe. Did you feel that way too?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, when you first started, right?
I wasn't Pan-Asian enough to be like too urban, nor was I, and urban market's so small, and then at the same time I was too my Malay was like, so I was kind of like you, like I think I was too Malay, like facial wise I'm a bit too Malay to be too urban,
which is so crazy because I'm looking at you now and I think like you would make a perfect anything. Like you would make a good host, you'd be a good actor, you're very versatile and you can do anything. That's what I feel when I look at you.
My friend. That's why she's
No, I'm not being biased, really, like your face, I feel it can fit anything, you know?
But it's also like, remember that day we bumped into a friend of yours who had the face for like even the Chinese commercials.
That's right, yeah.
And it was still like, and that's the question I always like go like, so when it boils down to it, what is the deal breaker? You know, even a person who has a face, what's the freaking deal breaker for you? In my honest opinion, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like at the end of the day, what really brings it is the following. What brings it down is the following, which was never a thing for the longest time. And I think the viral aspect of your worth.
But you see, like back in my day, I mean, like,
what are you talking about? You're Gen Z, right?
10 years. Wait, actually, yeah, Gen Z. Am I Gen Z? No, I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial.
Yeah, I'm millennial. But back when I was just starting out, like 10 years ago, there was no Instagram. No Instagram, like no YouTube or anything like that.
So Friendster.
So your calling card is basically your looks. Yeah. And at that time, the look that was in Malaysia, and this honestly pisses me off, the look that was in is Pan-Asian.
Yeah.
And so why are we so ashamed of how we look as Asians that we need to hire someone else that we think is the ideal of how we should look like? Or, you know, I feel that it didn't make sense, you know?
It's like we haven't like dealt with our historical traumas to like still indulge in Eurocentric features and think that this is us, this is defined by us. Even like, no offense lah, when I watch like Miss Malaysia and all, and half of them come on, I'm just like, I'm not saying that you're not a part of us, but I'm just saying that you're only in because, you know, like people struggle to accept an actual Asian facial you know, features.
Yeah.
You know, I get so excited when I see other countries who are like, to hell with it. This is how my people look. Deal with it, you know. I think one of it when, oh gosh, I'm gonna sound so like freaking basic. I forgot which country it was, but it was a South African country. And not South African. Yeah, South African country. Yes. And she looked black, you know, like she looked like her people, and she won. And now it's just like, yeah, that's the kind of representation that should be out. And
yeah, well, now I feel I'm glad things have changed, you
yeah,
know?
slowly it's
So, you know,
evolving.
like I'm getting a lot of jobs now, whereas in the past I'm not pretty enough, or I don't look a certain way.
Okay, yeah.
But now people are accepting. I'm so grateful for this generation and this way of being that is so accepting, so inclusive, where you know you don't like people have more awareness about what it is an actor does now, especially in Malaysia, whereas I would say 10 years ago there was less awareness. Yeah.
But do you think that it's still a drive though, like if you have a look?
Or looks are always important.
Yeah,
of course.
Like, do you think it's the drive
course.
of where your career can
because
go?
ultimately, like, the better you look, the more followers you have on your Instagram. It's there's no doubt about it. But then if you don't really have the special, that kind of look, then you got to work on other things, whether it's you work on your voice or your body or your skills or your networking. There's always something that you can work at. But sometimes I see like some quite popular actors nowadays who they don't necessarily, it's not that they look ugly, but they do have a certain look that is not the typical Zhang Ziyi look, but
no idea who's that, but
yes. very typical, like
that look,
very pretty face,
sweet one,
sweet and pretty face.
Yeah.
Whereas, but in storytelling, there is a necessity for all types of faces.
Yes.
Yes. All types of faces, and each face, every face tells a story. Your body tells a story.
Yeah.
And all those stories are important. Everyone's story is important.
Yeah. So I think that is when I'm always like, should looks be the drive in the Kickstarter for your career, or should it be talent, the work you're willing to put in, that kind of stuff, like, because at the end of the day everyone wants to work with someone who can work.
Yeah.
What I mean, like, and I feel like looks, to be honest with you, especially now, can always be worked on more than like a person who is eager to learn, who's eager to work. I don't know. I just find it. Yeah, I don't know if you agree that should looks be the Kickstarter, or like.
This is a very, very good question. Seriously, I feel like this thing that we're talking about, that we're touching on, looks in terms of the context of acting is it's sensitive, and at the same time it's very important.
Yeah.
I would say, okay, the benefit, like I'm thinking like, okay, if I am a director or a producer or something like that, the benefit of getting a generic beautiful person is that it's, in a way, it's more neutral. You kind of work with a neutral canvas, so you can kind of throw whatever character you can kind of throw on them. And then also looks kind of sell, because if the person is better looking, let's face it, like, as audiences, people want to watch good looking people. But then there are also people who they have a certain type of look, but they know how to sell their look. They're very confident of how they look. And that somehow just translates as beauty.
Yeah,
as
it does.
Yeah, and a very smart casting director and a smart director and producer will say, yes, I want this person, having a specific type of look.
But with that being said, like, do you feel that it's really changing? Like, the newer generation is starting to want to say, like, I want to see faces.
I would say 100%, because I say this from personal experience, because last time I was considered like not ugly, but I was not considered, my look was not considered industry level. But now it is, because we're accepting of all kinds of looks and faces. And that's why now I finally feel like like I can actually thrive. Like before that, I thought like, I should just stick to theater and to performing arts or to dance or whatever movement stuff, because I know that this phase just cannot make it. I know that I'm not going to get any work. But now I know that I can, because my face, I'm not saying that I'm ugly, because I know I'm not. I know I'm very beautiful, but I'm not the industry, the 10 years ago Pan-Asian Malaysia, like, I'm not that standard. Yeah, but then now that standard is out the window. We don't have that standard anymore. It's great because we're accepting of all kinds of faces. And every face is unique and beautiful, and every face has its own story. And this is the dream and the wish that I have for the industry. And I want to be able to say to anyone who comes up to me, anyone at all, and says, can I be an actor? I want to say yes. I want to be able to say, yes, you can, no matter how you look. That's the dream of an industry that I would love to create, because every story is important.
So it's like reaching towards an industry of radical acceptance. Could you dare say?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Instead of like, because right now we're in the body positivity kind of like world, and body positivity is good, is important, and it is a kickstarter to what should be towards radical acceptance. And you know what I mean, right? Because we need to see us represented. We need to see a person who would go to the kitchen looking like they're going to the kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. How refreshing
would that be?
Would that be?
Like, oh, this person looks like me.
Yeah.
I can tell stories. I can expose myself. I can speak and have an opinion. Next question. I'm trying to transition my questions, but I feel like it's so fun.
It's okay. I think it's fine.
Editing is key. So what is it you wish you knew before you started your career as an actor?
So I wish I relaxed a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I relaxed a lot more. I think when I just started out, I was very, very concerned about what people thought about me, and I was very eager to please and I was very eager for validation and approval. Like, am I right? Am I good? Am I good enough? I was always like asking that question. But now I realize that actually that's not so important.
Yeah.
So I wish I had known back then to relax more and that everything's going to be okay. But then that's always the beauty about being where you are, and looking back, you always think like, you should have just relaxed more. Other things I wish I would have known is that it's not about you. Yeah, I think this thing was a very big realization for me, that when you are an actor, it's about the team. It's about telling the story. The story comes first. The work comes first. You are in service of the story, and once you have that switch of mindset, everything else will flow a lot easier. Your acting will naturally become better. Yeah, I guess when I first started, I was so like, oh my god, am I doing it right? Oh my god, like it's like so many concerns, like, like, is my eyebrow too high? Like everything becomes weird in my body because I'm so self-conscious. But then if I had that switch of mind, from the transference from it's not about me, this is about the story. This is about making it work as a whole. And if I had switched that focus, I think a lot of my work would have been better, and I would have gotten to wherever I needed to get to faster. I would probably be more successful now if I had focused more on that. So I would say that one is definitely a huge learning experience. So if anyone's listening, I hope that you can take this in. How people say, like, learn from other people's mistakes. This is one mistake of mine that you can definitely learn from.
Wait, but that being said, like, is that awareness of like, oh, I'm not good, was that important for you to go through to get to where you need to be right now, or do you feel like nah?
I think maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I guess it was my lesson to learn. My lesson to learn about yeah. And I think maybe different people have different lessons. So I feel like yeah, it was necessary to struggle with myself so much. And I guess, you know, honestly different people have different struggles. But I guess my struggle was a lot to do with feeling comfortable with myself and accepting myself.
Yeah. And that was like a process that needed to be done.
Yeah. And I guess acting was maybe, you know, maybe that's why my soul decided to
Go towards acting.
go towards acting, because like I knew that I needed to like work on myself and my self-acceptance a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So last question is, what's the one thing you learned from acting that you applied to your life?
One thing.
I mean, there are multiple, it's cool too. But the main
thing would be being in the moment. Yeah, so just really like being present. Yeah, you know, like I'm sure you can relate, like when you're on stage, like the last thing you're thinking about, no matter how upset you are, you could have just like broken up with your boyfriend or had a fight with your mom or whatever, but when you're on stage and you're acting, the last thing you're thinking about is that. Yeah, and that's so nice because you're in the moment, you're in flow, and that's why doing theater is so addictive. Because 2.5, maybe like 2 hours, you're on stage, your mind is just blank, you're in the moment, you're in the character, you're in flow, you're in connection with the audience, you're expressing, you're giving, you're sharing, you're reciting the lines that you memorized months ago. Everything's come together, and it's
and what is the, could you explain further in detail, more of like what in the moment is really like, the sensation, the feeling, the process?
I would say it's like just flowing. You know, there's no thought. I mean, not to say there's no thought, obviously you do think things, but there's no like,
it's a very cathartic process. Like, are you reaching for catharticism?
I would maybe less of catharsis and more of like
I know English.
more of like flow. You know, that's what feels, the flow is what feels nice.
When you mention like that's what theatre does and all, do you highly recommend for actors to at least experience theatre once?
Definitely.
Why do you feel that way?
Because it's like, okay, I would say that honestly theatre is the purest form of acting. But I mean, like, it's not necessary, you don't necessarily have to do theatre to be a good actor. I mean, I know so many actors, especially like I was watching Genie Boy TV a few days ago, and I watched some of the actors who and they're amazing. And I mean, I know that probably they've not had theatre experience, but they act so well. You know, so which means that like I know that you don't need to have theatre experience to be a good actor, but I feel that theatre is for yourself.
It's to understand what you're doing, right, as an actor.
It's a very intimate kind of connection, because like after you perform a show, you can actually interact immediately with the people who just watched the show. So it's a very like intimate kind of
form of craft and work.
Yeah, but I would say it's a very good experience, and I definitely recommend everyone in this world to experience theatre at least once. Because there's that rush, there's the excitement of just being on stage, being someone else, being in an alternate universe.
And just playing.
And just playing, exactly. I mean, playing within the rules.
Within your a theatre practitioner or like maker wants it like playing within your prison, like when you create a story, when you create a space, what you're trying to also create is putting your characters in a prison.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And then you play within that structure, right?
Yeah, and it allows you to kind of like work. I like when you're in a prison, in a way, you kind of have to like deal with what is happening with you then, and also articulate your experiences and your emotions in that situation. So yeah, I agree with you. I think you can only benefit by doing
Right? Yeah, it's a really beneficial, amazing
Yeah.
experience. It really, really is.
So all you theatre like makers, you wanna plug your work and just show yourself, your classes.
Wait, where?
In
They are
the
like where?
comments.
Oh yeah, in the comments.
In the comments.
Below in the comments.
I don't know all of you. I'm still figuring you all out. So yeah, cool. Anyways, that was my last question. Grace, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being my first guest. It was wonderful. I got a lot out of it. I'm so excited to see what what everyone thinks, what will happen after this. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I hope the actor's journey, becomes a thing for you and
Continue.
yeah.
It will be my Fleabag.
Yeah, it will be your special moment, and I hope someone picks Trina up for a series special, to tell her story. Because everyone has a story.
This video is just us trying to like hype each other.
Yeah.
Okay. This whole podcast was just hyping each other up. There was no point to this. Alright. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yay.
Bye. Just lean forward a little bit. Just make sure that your voice goes into the mic during the soft moments. But during the haha moments, we can just lean back and just
Attracting thy mate.
Boom, boom, made it great to be crazy.
It was ridiculous.
I needed to fall back for that.
Thank you for tuning in to The Actor's Journey. This episode was made possible by Cendana, Penjana, and MyCreative Ventures.